Airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
Big Ten champions. Big Ten champs.
National champions, yes.
Oklahoma City bound the Oregon Ducks.
Awesome day to be a Duck, man.
Boom inside. Touchdown Oregon. He gets loose. Fires. Hit. Pops the three. Oh, yeah. It's all Oregon.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider.
It's about how to be a group of people that know how to love each other to the absolute fullest.
Pleasure, joy to be with them each and every day. And I can't wait for the future.
It's just fun to be a part of a community that cares, that is passionate, and when we come together, powerful things can happen.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck athletics.
A strong and action-packed weekend for Oregon football, as well as the rest of Oregon athletics. We'll break it all down for you here on a Monday edition of Duck Insider inside the Country Financial Studio. Duck Insider, as always, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Oregon football, a 34-14 victory over Northwestern. We'll hear thoughts on from the coach, as well as plenty of different student athletes, as Oregon is 1-0 in Big Ten play, 1-0 on the road. Although I'm sure that Oregon will say that there's a lot to clean up. We'll get to all of that over the course of the show here on Duck Insider today. Also, Oregon soccer was in action. They opened up their Big Ten play down in Southern California against UCLA. Didn't get the victory, but did, I think, have a pretty resilient result against a very strong and historic program with a lot of pedigree down at UCLA. Oregon, outside of a few penalty kicks, was right in this. In the course of play, Oregon and UCLA actually would have drawn outside of 2 penalty kicks. Oregon volleyball also down in Southern California, went 2-1 on the weekend. We broke down the loss on Friday, but then Friday night and Saturday, Oregon got wins, 2-1 on the weekend, as Oregon rewrote those losing ways from Thursday and was able to get into the win column and have ultimately a successful weekend in non-conference play down in Southern California. Also, some golf out on the links right now as we speak. We'll break that down later in the show. And, of course, Oregon football. A lot of news coming from Saturday, but I kind of want to work in reverse chronological order because after the game and on Sunday, there was, I think, a really special announcement from Oregon football, some new uniforms, and thanking somebody who has meant so much to this university, not only in terms of his time as a student athlete, but then his time after being a student athlete as a businessman and everything that he's given. Of course, Phil Knight to the University of Oregon, the Ducks showing a little bit of a thank you to Phil Knight.
Dear Phil, we knew you back when you were just Buck. Back when Bowerman was trying to break you down and build you back up, like a pair of handmade shoes he'd put on your feet. Back when you were a hamburger, just trying to hold your own at Hayward 1/2 mile at a time. We watched you go from a boy to a man of Oregon. From a timid teen to a tiger. From the guinea pig to greatness. You chased your crazy idea around the world, and then came back to the only place in the world where it wasn't so crazy. Some forget where they come from. You found strength in it. Turned your parents' basement into Blue Ribbon Sports headquarters. Partnered with the professor of competitive response. Asked for one last loan from the bank of dad. Sold one of your first pairs to mom. And when you made it, after you had spent your weekend sewing shoes out of the back of your Valiant, and Bill had broken Barbara's waffle iron, and you'd refused to back down in 1972. You gave back to the place that made you. Gave us speed. Gave us our wings. Gave us a reason to run. A reason to win. You gave us something to be proud of. gave us inspiration in orange boxes, gave us our identity, gave to find a cure, and gave to the next generation. Now, it's time to give you and Penny your flowers, to say thank you for everything. To tell you that we wouldn't be the University of Oregon without you. Our time, you said, is as short as a morning run. Good thing there's no finish line. With love, Oregon.
A thank you to Phil Knight, and then, of course, announced along with the video, the new uniforms for Oregon that the Ducks will be wearing against Oregon State this Saturday at Autzen Stadium, a noon kick, and these uniforms are awesome. I saw these uniforms for the first time, and I was absolutely blown away. When I first saw them, I thought, those might be Photoshopped. They might be, a great fan went and, designed a really cool uniform, but I'm not sure if those are actually going to make it onto the football field. And then I saw that Oregon actually then released the uniforms, and I said, oh my goodness, those are impeccable. The details are incredible. The gold accents around it with so many different details. There's many different posts on social media and videos on social media detailing the details that go into that uniform. But I got to tell you, this is one of my favorite uniforms that Oregon has released in my time following the Ducks. It is special. It is special. I was blown away by the uniforms. If you want to see them in person at Autzen Stadium, they'll be debuted this Saturday against Oregon State. And I thought it was really fitting that Bryce Bcher was the one who wore that uniform in the uniform reveal. An Oregon guy, it's meant so much to the university to be part of the University of Oregon. And one of the other videos that we didn't play, Bryce and Coach Lanning were debuting the uniform to Phil Knight, and Phil, a little tongue-in-cheek, said, you haven't done bad for a baseball player. And I think that kind of taps into the roots of what this whole thing is about, where Bill Bowerman was the coach of Phil Knight, and then Dan Lanning is the coach of Bryce Bcher, and that same relationship is the one that presents Phil Knight with this thank you uniform. It was really cool. It was really, really cool. A whole bunch of content to continue to dissect and consume on those uniforms throughout Oregon football socials. If you haven't seen all of them already, make sure you go and look. And I'm sure that more will be coming from Coach Lanning tonight and his thoughts on the uniforms as he meets with the media later tonight, and more throughout the course of the week. But now I want to flash back in time, because that's what happened yesterday on Sunday. Now we're going to what happened on Saturday, which was an actual game on the football field. The uniform still looked good, a little bit more traditional, if Oregon's uniforms ever are traditional. But on the road, the Ducks went up in their first road game against Northwestern, and it was a strong start for Oregon. The Ducks were up 34-0 in this game, but Northwestern then scored 2 touchdowns late. I know that Coach Lanning certainly would have hoped that the Oregon Ducks were able to complete the football game a little bit stronger. However, Oregon still played a pretty strong football game and were able to generate some explosive plays. Coach Lanning, after the game, talking about how his team played, but also the results, good. You like a win, you like a road win. Also would have liked a little bit better finish. Here's Coach Lanning after the game.
Thought we lacked a little killer instinct there at the end, and that's, our standard can't change. I want to give a lot of credit to Northwestern. I thought they came out here with a good plan. They executed well on their side of the ball, and outside of some turnovers, I think they were right in this game. But they had a good plan for us. They executed well. I thought we came with some answers, and were able to create some things there, especially early in the second half. Create some of our run game that we needed to have in this game. I thought our quarterback made great decisions. But ultimately those takeaways and being able to score early and play some good defense early, more advantageous defense than great defense, allowed us to come away with the win.
I feel like the team handled adversity for the first time.
Yeah, good and bad. Like, there's going to be some film for us to be able to go back and really attack. And again, I think they had some good answers that we have to have a good plan for moving forward. I thought the energy on the sideline was really good. Just disappointed with the last couple drives on both sides of the ball. We kind of charted that throughout. We knew this was going to be a limited possession game with the way that they play football. They did a really good job of eating the clock. we got to take advantage of every series, right, on both sides of the ball. And at times we did that, at times we didn't. Ultimately, the demeanor on the sideline was great. The playing for each other was great. Guys were focused and attentive, but we just didn't finish the way that I want to finish.
Dan, to close the first half, it's 10-0, about 3.5 to go, and you're facing 3rd and long at your own 11. Dante reels off 4 completions, a couple of them for 20. What did you see on that drive where you want to create a road environment? And all right, it's not the most daunting of situations, but you're pinned in your own end zone. If you don't convert there, they got the middle 8 and could potentially tie or take a lead if you don't convert there. So just what did you see from your quarterback?
Yeah, poise, man. I thought Dante played with poise all day. Even the ball, that was picked off, I think he's making the right decision. Throwing that direction, the wind was a real issue. I think you saw it also on kickoff return for them. They had a long kickoff return. We knew that ball was going to come out. We didn't do a good job covering there. But you got to be able to make critical plays like that. We had too many 2nd and longs today, too many 3rd and longs that we had to convert, and to go 7-11 on 3rd down is impressive with some of the down and distances that we had and some of the decisions that we had to push to go get. What we'd love to do is avoid 3rd down altogether, and that means we got to be more efficient on 1st and 2nd.
No Noah today, but your thoughts on the running game seemed pretty consistent.
Yeah, some good, some bad. Right, there were some explosive plays. Was excited to see Dier get in there and create an explosive play. He's proven to be an explosive playmaker. I thought our backs ran hard. Right, I thought they did a good job of getting extra hats at the point of attack. I thought their guys played well on the edge and made it tough for us to establish some of our run game. But we came back with some answers and had some success there.
Getting both the 2nd and the 3rd string quarterback in today, is that just because resting guys when the game's out of hand, or was there anything else going on at that position? Yeah,
we got to create critical moments for everybody on our team. And we talk about strength in numbers. Like, if you touch the field, we have an expectation and a standard. So for us, let's continue to figure out how many guys can play winning football for us, because you never know when you have to count on somebody, right, in those situations. And Brock's had a really good camp, done some really good things. Luke's done some really good things. I thought they both did some good stuff today as well. But ultimately, regardless of the position, you saw a lot of guys out there play again for us. That's always going to be the goal, right? And we got to make sure that when we get people in, that they're playing to the standard we expect.
With the 2 games you've got coming up, did it feel good knowing it didn't look like you really had to dig deep into your playbook today offensively? I don't know if that's true. We had plenty of stuff set up, but again, I thought they defended it well. That defense is tough at times to create some of the explosives because of the brand that they play. And if they win on 1st down, they're able to play cover 2, Tampa on 2nd down, and you can't have success moving the ball, right? You're going to have a hard time creating explosives when they're too high, right? And what's that mean? You got to run the ball and be effective on 1st down. You got to be able to run the ball on 2nd and long. And at times we did that. I think we started off the second half, 3 series, three scores, right? And that's what we got to do. I think same thing defensively. We started off second half, 3 stops, but ultimately we didn't get enough stops there at the end. We got the win, but that's not our expectation.
And they referenced the finishing the plays defensively, but 3 quarters, no points. Your thoughts maybe on the start for your defense?
Yeah, I thought they had some sustained drives where we had to put the fire out, right? They created some success. They converted some short yardage plays. And every one of those, I think they shot themselves in the foot a little bit more than we went and created success, but we were advantageous when we had opportunities to make plays on the ball, right? Whether it's Bryce or Jerry, those guys have proven to be guys that are ball production guys, and that's definitely what we're looking for. But ultimately, I think we can be better, before we get to that point.
Obviously, a lot you feel like you can clean up, but no penalties, particularly given the number of different guys you played.
Yeah.
About your group and the effort this week.
More than anything, we get what you emphasize, right? And we emphasize that a lot. No DBOs, we don't beat ourselves. And when we don't beat ourselves, you got a chance to have success, right? And that was a big emphasis this week. It showed up. We operated clean, right? We have to continue to do that to help ourselves out.
Yeah, Jerry with another interception, Bryce with a pick. Almost had one earlier in the game. What can you say about those 2 guys and what they're able to do from the inside linebacker position?
Yeah, just that. I mean, ball production. They understand where we need to be. They understand where the quarterback's going to go with the ball, and they take advantage of it, and they bait it. Jerry gets a bunch of those in practice, and it's because he makes you think that he can't make the play, and then he does an unbelievable job breaking on the ball.
Yeah, speaking on the turnovers on Bryce, had that interception in the first drive where they were moving a little bit. How big was that? What that to mean for the game right there? The short field to return to.
Yeah, commonalities between their success and our success is the turnover margin. We knew that was going to be huge in this game. We had to protect the ball. Obviously, we had the one interception that we can't have. But we wanted to win in the first quarter. We wanted to make sure that we took care of the ball. We had to create some takeaways on defense, and that happened.
How important is it these first 3 games as a whole, Dan, that somebody like Malik establishes himself as a bit of a go-to guy? He has the 2 on that drive going into half, but even before that, it was a big touchdown catch last week. To have a guy establish himself in that way beyond the Corian.
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of guys that can make plays on offense, and Malik has certainly done that. I could start naming a bunch of names of guys that have made big-time plays, and the ball getting delivered to people as well, right? Good quarterback play helps all those things, but Malik's been great for us.
And no shortage of firsts in the Big Ten for you guys the last 2 years. I'm just curious, obviously the field dimensions are the same, but being in this environment, how'd you prepare your guys for it? How do you think they handle playing in a stadium that's unlike anything they'll probably ever play in again?
Yeah, different. I thought they handled it really well. Those got to be the loudest speakers behind us that I've ever heard. Like, that's false crowd noise, right? And it was annoying. So, I mean, that's something they should keep.
Is it tough at all to gauge where your defense really is, given the fact that you've played 3 marginal quarterbacks?
I think I know where our defense is at. I think I know where we got to improve.
There's been a lot going on in the country the last week. Have you addressed that with your team? How can you handle that?
Yeah, talk about, I think the U.S. could learn a lot from our locker room. I think the people in this world could learn a lot from our locker room. You walk in that locker room, you got guys of different races, guys of different backgrounds, different religions, and you got a team that loves each other. Like, tons of differences, where they come from, what they deal with, and ultimately you got a team that loves each other. And I think we're missing some of that in our country. You know, you talk about, you recently found out, like Charlie Kirk was a Oregon fan, right? I didn't know that. I hurt for his wife, Erica, and their kids. Like, that sort of evil should never exist in our country, and that's what it is. It's evil. Like, but I remember having to explain that to my family, right? I remember sitting down with my kids and explaining what happened, and they're talking about people talking about it at school, and it's just sad, right? But it's just as sad, every day it seems like we deal with some sort of violence that's going on in our country, whether it's, school kids in Colorado or kids in Minnesota at churches. I mean, life matters, and I think we've lost sight of that. But I wish the world could learn a little bit of something from our locker room, because we got a bunch of people with differences, and what you got in there is a bunch of people that love there. And there's some people that'll be disappointed about how much I said about this, right? And there'll be some people that are disappointed that I didn't say enough, right? And I really don't care, right? What I do care about is, if you disagree with me, if you hate me, if you don't like me, just know this: I love you. I absolutely love you, right? And life matters. And that's no way that Charlie should have experienced that. His family should experience that. There's no way that evil should exist in this world. And we have to continue to identify it and point it out and make sure that it's absolutely evil. There's no reason in the world that our kids, we should be worried about sending our kids to school. It's our most valuable commodity in the world. They should be protected. And the reality is, there's just not a lot of common sense on both sides. Like, common sense says, oh, it's mental health. Right? Common sense says, oh, it's guns. You know what? It's both. Like, let's have some common sense. Our kids should be the most protected thing in the world, right? They should have armed guards at every school, because there's sick people. There's sick people in this world, right? And on top of that, sick people need help. And it should be really hard for a sick person to have a gun. It should be really hard, right? And if people can't see that from both sides, how disappointing is that? But I just know, like, when you see moments like that exist right now in our country, like, I just think about my kids. And I remember I saw that video, and it's disgusting. And I just told him, like, man, I hope my kids don't see that video. Like, how much does that suck? I hope Charlie's kids never see that video. Like, disgusting, right? And we glorify it, we praise it. People are internet warriors, and those are sick people. And at some point, we need to go look at sports, because what our football team has is, it has people on both sides of the fence. Right? And there's fans that love our team that have a lot of different opinions. And the truth is, there's a lot of things Charlie said that I did not agree with at all. There's a lot of things he said that I did agree with. But what's disappointing is I could respect those differences, and somebody else couldn't. And they thought that they deserved to be God in that moment, and they didn't. Right? And nobody should have to experience that. So, yeah, I got a lot of disappointment. We had we had Bible study with our team. We talked about it with our team, and I think our team feels the same way, regardless of views. I don't think they feel anybody ever deserves to experience what some people in our country are experiencing right now, and super disappointing.
I was going to ask something else, but you just said you talked to your kids about that. How did they respond when you mentioned what you just...
Well, they value life. The kids in our locker room value life, right? And, again, very differing views on opinions, but respect. Enough to respect life. And that's the part that some of us in this world are missing.
Oh, hey, Coach. Chris Thomas in Denver Gazette. I'm passing through, getting some flavor for a Bo Nix story. Wanted to ask you about your thoughts on his continued progression as an NFL quarterback, and what capacity do you still keep in touch with him?
Yeah, I still talk to Bo regularly. I'm really proud of what he's doing at the second level. I'm not surprised at all at the success he's had. It's hard for me to follow him at times because of our schedules and how busy it is, but it's great to be able to stay in touch. And you guys are lucky to have an unbelievable leader and a great person. You know.
That's Coach Lanning, brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center, better cancer care close to home. And, of course, a lot of football talk, but also a lot of not football talk during that postgame. I think Coach Lanning put it pretty eloquently when he was able to display his thoughts on, well, the football game itself and then everything outside of it and the peripherals. And when you look at the character traits of this Oregon team and the 4 pillars of this team, well, connection is one of them. And I think that everybody could learn a lot from what, we get to observe. The football team certainly demonstrates, and what we around this athletic department get to observe a little bit closely, and then everybody else gets to observe from a decent bit less close, but also, still able to see the strong connection. Because anybody who you ask, whether it's somebody who's watched this Oregon football team one time or whether it's somebody who's around the building, the word connection is said over and over and over again. I think that's really impactful and important. So Coach Lanning, I think, put it pretty eloquently. We're going to hear more from Coach Lanning as well as some of the athletes that made the game happen. It was a 34-14 win for Oregon, continuing to break it down when we return on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear Truckin' Awesome, Toyota Tundra's got heart-pounding horsepower. Tacoma is one rugged ride, and the 4Runner is tough as nails. Truck yeah. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Truckin' Awesome, Toyota Tundra's got heart-pounding horsepower. Tacoma is one rugged ride, and the 4Runner is tough as nails. Truck yeah. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Duck Insider continues from the Country Financial Studios in 1 minute on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
We just kind of knew from the beginning that we were family.
They showcased a sense of love that I never had before. I mean, he's not only my parent, he's like my best friend.
At the end of the day, it's all been worth it. I wouldn't change a thing about our lives.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom? She started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, it's Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ryan Milano here with you on a Monday, breaking down Oregon football's 34-14 win as the Ducks advance to 3-0 on the season and 1-0 in Big Ten play after their first road trip. Just heard some extended thoughts from Coach Lanning, but also out in Chicago, Illinois, Dusty Harrow was there and got to hear some thoughts from the coach as well. A little bit shorter, a little bit quicker hitting. Here's Coach Lanning with Dusty Harrow.
Coach Lanning, we're 1-0 again this week, and adversity can show its face in a variety of ways. And this one, first road game of the year, early kick, some weird weather. What'd you learn about your team through all of it?
Well, just that we can still be so much better, right? And there's some really good things. We got put in some tough situations, had a lot of second and longs. I thought a lot of credit to Northwestern. They had a great plan for us, but I thought our quarterback operated well. Wind affected us on that one throw that ended up getting intercepted. I thought our defense was advantageous when it came to the ball. We got to do a better job of choking people out on first down, and that's going to be something that we got to get better at. But ultimately, we went on the road and came away with the W.
Those linebackers come up with 2 more interceptions this week after you had Jerry Mixon with the pick 6 last week. What is it about those guys in coverage that is leading to those big plays?
Yeah, they have a good understanding where the ball's going to be at. They play with great vision, and they're allowed and able to go attack the ball when they get those opportunities. They did a good job of that today.
Dante Moore, again, efficient with the football, 16 of 20, 178 yards and a touchdown today. But it was kind of the plays that he made in the critical situations. What have you seen from him, and as from a growth standpoint, from week to week? Because he looks like he is in total command.
Yeah, I think he had great control of the offense today. I know the statistics don't necessarily share that story, but some of the plays he made with his feet, some of the ways he kept the play alive, the decisions that he made were really good today. Even the pick, he's throwing it to the right guy. We just didn't have enough air on the ball.
De'Ara Hill, true freshman coming in, home state. He puts on a show for the home crowd. That young man, you use him in a variety of ways. What has his skill set really shown to you guys as a coaching staff?
He's an explosive playmaker, man. Plays for the love of the game, loves his teammates, and works extremely hard. So I'm really excited to see him continue to have a big role in this offense.
Your defense on critical downs, 3 of 11 on third down for Northwestern, holding them into situations where you mentioned it. On first down, you hope that they're not in third and short, but they bowed their back in those critical down situations.
Yeah, had some great stops, but also gave up some conversions. So there's some room there for us to grow.
All right, Coach. Congratulations, 1-0 again this week, and next week heading back to Autzen Stadium.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
That's Coach Lanning with Dusty Harrow. That was part of our Oregon Sports Network postgame from the road. And, Coach, he talked a lot about the quarterback and how he thought Dante Moore played a pretty strong game as a leader and an executor of the offense. The stats for Dante Moore, 16 for 20 through the air. That completion percentage continues to be high. It was an 80% completion percentage day for Dante Moore. He threw for 178 yards, threw for a touchdown, but did also throw his first interception of the season, where, if you listen to what Coach Lanning just said, it wasn't necessarily the worst decision. It was the right guy, but windy conditions, wind blowing back at him. I'm not making excuses for the quarterback, but that's just the circumstances what happened. Got to be better, got to complete the pass, but also the decision-making was still there, made the right throw. Dante Moore, he spoke with the general media after the game, after Oregon got a 34-14 win.
At the end of the first half, it's like 3.5 to go. It's 10-0. You don't convert on third down. They could double up, take the lead, or go ahead. You go 4 for 4, hit multiple 20-yard passes. Just mentally, what was that 2-minute drive at that point? Like, what were you thinking? What were you seeing?
Yeah, I just kind of go back to practice and just the way we just operate on 2-minute drills, 4-minute. Understanding that of course in that situation we want to bleed as much time as we have and still be able to score. But yeah, in that situation, we had a couple of 3-and-outs or just not being able to convert on the drive. But overall, it's just a little adversity, and Coach Lanning loves to see how I just face adversity, and a little bit of adversity hit today. But overall, we got the win, and that's the biggest thing.
Not a perfect performance, maybe. You guys are really balanced offensively. Again, you had some explosives, no penalties. How would you sum up the overall effort today, but also kind of what it says about where you're at through 3 weeks?
Yeah, first away game. We usually have 60,000 cheering for us. Usually, that's how it usually goes. But we're on the road. It's just us versus us, like always. But playing in a different environment, thunder and lightning, and windy, and just a lot of things going on. But overall, we came out with the win. It wasn't the best look, but we're going to go back to the doctor. We're going to learn. We're going to better our mistakes, and that's the biggest thing from learning.
Dan talked about you guys knew going into this game possessions were going to be limited. I guess what's the challenge as a quarterback knowing you're only going to have not as many opportunities to score as previous games?
Yeah, just knowing how the Midwest and how the Big Ten, how it goes. The run game, rushing game is the biggest thing. And as a quarterback, you love to have 100 drives if you can. But, playing teams like this, they love to milk the clock, they love to run the ball, just to hold the ball, and, that's how teams win. But overall, like our first drive didn't go, go the way we wanted it to go. But we have time. We kind of came in and said we have to regroup, better ourselves, make sure we can, take full advantage of our drive. So we got the job done for sure.
Not to nitpick, but can you walk us through the interceptions?
Yeah. It's been a little while since I, of course, threw a pick. Not even for this season, but it's been about 2 years. And I know my freshman self would have been like, damn, like, it's chewing me alive. I'm, like, looking at the play over and over, like, just devastated after the pick. But, now the mindset I have now is just next play. Of course, I didn't have the chance to play the rest of the game. But overall, I mean, the ghost throw picks. Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning. So a lot of those happen. It's just the way of playing quarterback. But I feel like I can always tell everybody I'm not a big statistical guy. I'm not big on just, stats, touchdowns. I'm just the biggest part is just seeing everybody's faces after the win. Make sure you won, smiling, and, it's going from there.
That was going against the wind, did it?
Yeah.
Like you went through it a little bit. Not
Did
it catch it?
Yeah, Mother Nature. This on play playing on Lake Michigan. It's, Coach Don was like, it's time to let it rip today. I was like, yeah. But like I said, the wind got under it. DeCoin did his job. He ran with speed. It's a great Mike linebacker to have, Mac. He does a great job getting depth in that coverage. So overall, I mean, this is a play that happens, and I just got to flush it and come back next week and hit the ground going.
What kind of growth have you seen from Malik Benson since he's gotten here to I think he's leading the team in receptions and yards through the first 3 games.
Yeah, he's a vet. Going the JUCO route, going to Alabama, going to FSU, and coming here. Man, I love him to death. We're not blood, but I call him my brother. It's something deeper than just the football side, but it's just we're outside the facility, the way we hang out, the way we just connect with each other. I mean, when I'm not feeling my best, he always comes and, taps me on my head and talks to me. And when he's not feeling his best, I make sure that I get to talk to him and make sure that he's, doing the right thing, but very unselfish. He's never, head down if people are getting other catches at practice, spring ball, fall camp. I mean, he's always a positive guy. He's faith-driven, understanding that his timing will come at some point, from God. But overall, he's done a great job. He's super quick, great, can make plays with the ball in his hand, and I'm blessed to have him as a receiver.
Touched on it a little bit, Dante, but what made this a unique day by way of the setting? Because this is undoubtedly the smallest venue you've been in since high school, and probably will be the smallest one you play in the rest of your life. So just I'm calling what it is. It's literally not allowed by rule up until a couple of years ago. So it's never going to happen again. What was unique about, all right, it's pouring rain at the beginning, it's only 12,000 people, wind, whatever. What made this a unique setting for college football?
The best thing was my family getting to come out here. 3-hour drive from Detroit. Playing, in the Big Ten, it's an advantage for people that live in the Midwest, and I'm just glad they had the chance to come out. I love, of course, I take videos and pictures of every stadium I play in, so I have, a lot of great videos of here, especially with a lot of wind kicking in, but I feel like, it's a blessing to be in college football, being able to play here at Northwestern, as a kid. These are schools that you've always wanted to go to, and being able to play here against a competitive team and coming out victorious is a great feeling. But overall, being able to play in another environment, not like Alton. Alton's, of course, one of the best in the world, and is the best in the world. But playing in this venue is a blessing for sure.
During your years in understudy at Dylan Gabriel, what are some of the specific fundamentals and other sort of lessons of the position that he taught you?
Yeah, I always preach the biggest thing he taught me was preparation. The way he just prepped Monday through Friday, and on Saturday, how he just went out there and got the job done. And another thing I learned from him is just you got to enjoy this process. He's, of course, the dream was going 3 years in college and going to the NFL, and he was for sure a quarterback that's been in college for way longer than that. And at some point when he came to Oregon, he traveled from UCF to Oklahoma to Oregon. It was a long process, especially being from the islands, far away from home. He said every day when it comes to the facility, early in the morning, late at night, you just got to enjoy the process and be thankful for it. And I kind of feel like being able there to see him smile every day when days got tough, it kind of just brought me just the juice and just the energy to keep flowing and make sure I'm pushing my teammates the best they can do.
That's Dante Moore, who led Oregon to a 34-14 victory over Northwestern over the weekend. Talking about Dylan Gabriel, who threw his first NFL touchdown yesterday, by the way. Couple of successful pro ducks in the NFL had pretty strong days yesterday. Brennan Dorlus had a sack. Troy Franklin had a huge day for the Broncos. Of course, Bo Nix is quarterback. A lot of stars in the NFL. Really, the more that the years go by under Coach Lanning, the more that I continue to look at NFL rosters and see, there's a duck over there, and there's a few ducks on that team. And, well, all right. It seems like every team has somebody to root for and is playing impactful snaps, and most of them are starters in the NFL. It's been cool not only to watch the football on Saturdays, but also on Sundays from a couple of pro ducks. A few guys that, with the way that they were playing over the weekend, might be pro ducks. We'll hear from them when we return. After this, it's Stuck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
When life blindsides you with an injury, you need a team that's tough. For over 30 years, Morgan & Morgan has been fighting for the people. This season, we're proud to partner with Oregon Athletics. Because whether it's on the field or in the courtroom, we're both determined to do what it takes to win. Morgan & Morgan, proud partner of Oregon Athletics. Injured? Dial pound law. Morgan & Morgan, 10150 Southwest 6th Avenue, Portland. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
More Duck Insider from the Country Financial Studios after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
When I smoke weed, I get lost in the music. I like to isolate each instrument. The rhythmic bass, the harmonies on the piano, the sticky melody.
Hey, careful, babe. There's someone crossing the street.
Sorry, I didn't see him there.
If you feel different, you drive different. Don't drive high. It's dangerous and illegal everywhere. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
I'm coming home to the place that I remember. Back to the land of my first love. Would you spread wide your arms for this wayward son? I left my heart in Oregon.
We're back inside the Country Financial Studio. It's Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ryan Milano here with you, breaking down an Oregon football victory on Saturday over Northwestern. And somebody who I got to interview earlier in the week was Jaden Lamar. It aired on our Oregon Sports Network pregame show. And I won't take any credit, but the last two guys that I've interviewed on the pregame show scored touchdowns. Peyton Woodyard did against Oklahoma State with a pick six. And Jaden Lamar, he was the lead back this week with Noah Whittington out. 11 rushes, 38 yards, and a touchdown for Jaden Lamar. He's had 3 weeks with touchdowns consecutively. He has been a bright spot for Oregon this season. If you listen to the coaches talk about him, they will rave that he's an even better teammate than he is a player on the football field. Dusty Hara got to catch up with Jaden Lamar postgame.
That's right. Down here again with Jaden Lamar after 11 carries, 39 yards, and a touchdown in today's game. You know, a lot was different about this game this week. How do you feel from the players' perspective? You guys handled the 9 a.m. kick, the first road game of the year, a different stadium environment.
I feel like we ended it very well, especially with how many young guys we have. Like, this is all new to them. A lot of them have never traveled. So for their first travel game to be, you know, this different, how when we leave, all that, I feel like they did a very good job of handling all that. And we feel like they handled it like professionals, so it was good.
You guys storm out to a 34-0 lead at one point, and you guys felt like it was in control of the game. What is the message when you guys get a lead like that and, you know, we start filtering in some of the guys who haven't played yet today?
Big message is nothing should change. There should be no drop off ever. Whoever's in the game, they got to do their job, and you know you saw that on the field the whole game. I feel like whoever was in, you never get worried. You know they're gonna do their job. Standard can never change depending on who's in the game.
De'Aaron Hill rips off a big run, and you mentioned this last week. You guys all get excited for each other when big plays happen. What is it like to see a guy come back to his home state and have that kind of run and that kind of game today?
we were so excited for him. We know his family's here, so it was awesome to see him be able to do that. We've seen it throughout camp. We know the speed he's got, and so for him to have that opportunity to showcase it, we were all super happy for him.
You guys as players notice how much green and yellow is in the stands today?
Oh, yeah, we loved it. We ran out. We was hyping up the crowd. We had a little booze, but for the most part, it was a lot of Oregon love, and we love our fans everywhere, so it was awesome.
Physicality of this game, it's no joke. And when you sat down in here, you got a bloody knee, you got Band-Aids on the other knees. How do you take care of your body in a season like this?
Me personally, I live in the training room. I try to take care of my body before I need to take care of my body, if that makes sense. I want to stay on top of it, and so I just continue to do that. And as the season gets longer, I spend more and more time on it, and yeah, it's part of the game.
As you're a guy who's been around here for a long time now, you mentioned how many young guys are playing big, significant snaps. Are you going the wily old veteran and telling them, the young bucks, that they need to do the same?
Oh yeah, there's a couple of dudes I make get in there with me, but for the most part, they follow suit and they be in there with me as well, so they got to.
Your quarterback, Dante Moore, he has been in command and under control. What have you seen from him, and what has impressed you?
Just his poise. You never worry about him. He never seems like he's flustered ever, and so I just know he's going to take care of the ball every play, and you never have to worry about a quarterback.
Does that calmness translate into the huddle?
100%. Everyone just relax. When he's talking, everyone's relaxed. No one's tense, and so, yeah, it's perfect.
Jaden Lamar, another touchdown. Another week, another touchdown, and now 3-0 on the season. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
That was Jaden Lamar post-game with Dusty Hara. Jaden then went over and talked with the general media. A strong performance. You can hear how excited he is for his teammates when they succeed. Here's Jaden Lamar with the general media.
How do you feel like your running back room kind of picked up with Noah being unavailable, and how do you feel like you personally did?
I feel like we did our job. That first half, they came out with a lot of good plays against us, that's for sure. And I feel like we did our job. We tried to get downhill as quick as possible. And, yeah, I feel like there was no drop-off with the young guys even. They did amazing. So I feel like we did good.
Kenyon had a receiving touchdown tonight. Everybody marvels at his blocking, but what kind of sets him apart as a pass catcher?
I would say Kenyon, he was my freshman roommate, actually. He's just always been very consistent. He's one of those dudes, when the ball goes up, he's going to get the ball. And so when we see him downfield one-on-one, we know what it's going to end up being. So I feel like the way he attacks the ball just kind of separates him.
First time the first-team offense had to punt this season.
Yeah.
How do you feel like you guys handled adversity this time? Because it wasn't always clean, perfect for you guys.
Yeah, I feel like we handled it very well. I mean, we were very limited. We had 4 possessions, I think it was, in the first half. We're very limited. And so when we bounced back and went and scored on the next drive, it just showed, we can bounce back. And we knew we were going to get hit with that adversity. We didn't know when it would come, but it came that first drive. They came out there, and they were ready to go. But I feel like we handled it very well.
Statistically not as dominant as the first 2 games. Is that a credit to them, or did you guys miss some things tonight?
I mean, I feel like my guys, they worked their butts off. We pushed. I feel like they did come out and they had some good schemes for us and everything. But that's football. At the end of the day, you aren't always gonna have a crazy game. In the first 2 games, we were able to move the ball amazingly well. And so this, to me, I feel like was just it was a bare knuckle game. We were really going. But yeah.
Jaden Lamar, a bare-knuckle game, physicality, rushing the football was a big emphasis in this game. Jaden Lamar, he carried a lot of load for Oregon in the backfield offensively. A couple of guys who made standout plays defensively. We'll talk to them when we return after this on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial.
Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
This is Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
You wanted to be cool, which led you to smoking, which led to a pack a day. Then you met that special someone, which led to starting a life with them. which led to wanting to live longer, which led to quitting. Then you heard you may be at risk for lung cancer, which led you to getting a low-dose CT scan. If you smoked, get scanned. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
When your car is making a strange noise, no matter what it is, you can't just pretend it's not happening.
That's an interesting sound.
It's like your mental health. If you're struggling and feeling overwhelmed, it's important to do something about it. It can be as simple as talking to someone or just taking a deep, calming breath to ground yourself. Because once you start to address the problem, you can go so much further. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org.
You know you make me wanna kick my heels up and throw my hands up and throw my head back and come on now. Don't forget to say you will. Don't forget to say yeah.
We're back inside the Country Financial Studio. Ryan Milano with you on Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. We talked a lot of offense as Oregon put up 34 points, but the Ducks had a shutout going into the fourth quarter. Northwestern did put up 14 in the fourth quarter, but Oregon, for the most part, was in control of this game thanks to a few defensive takeaways. One of which was by Bryce Bcher, who got his second career interception to go along with 5 tackles for Oregon in this game. Also a PB. He was so close to 2 interceptions. Bryce Bcher, after the game, he met with the media.
Bryson nearly had about 3 interceptions today. First, take us through the first one that you nearly had, and then the feeling of the one that you did get.
Yeah. First one, I was just keying the quarterback, and kind of took me right to where he was throwing the ball, and I was a little out of reach. Probably should have dove like a center fielder on that one, but I made up for it a couple plays later.
Yeah, Dan said he was disappointed with the lack of killer instinct at the end of the game, but the shutout for the first 3 quarters, what do you say about that, and how much pride do you take in the ability to have 3 clean quarters?
Yeah, we take a lot of pride in being able to pitch a shutout like that. It was clean football all the way through until the end there. The standard's a standard, so I would like to keep it a 0 there, but, got the win.
What is it that you've seen the last couple of years from Jerry that we're all now starting to see a lot more? Because obviously a couple of interceptions in back-to-back weeks is going to stand out, and Pro Football Focus grades, for whatever they're worth, seem to like him a whole lot last week, and that's easy to do. But what did you see leading up to this, to where this is now just a fulfillment of all that?
Yeah, he just starts in practice, man. He's ball savvy. Seems like he's always in the right place at the right time in the pass game, which is incredible. I've never seen someone with more interceptions in practice before, and it shows up on game day. So it's cool to see what he does in practice show up, and I'm looking forward to see what he does next week.
Mateo had pass deflection, sack, stuff in the shape. What makes him such a special talent?
Just consistency, man. He's twitchy, and like I said, he starts and he does it in practice too. His ability, just his moves on the edge, like the amount of shoulder rotation he gets, and he's a tackle's worst nightmare. So I love having him on our team.
I feel like your team handled adversity on the sidelines during the game when things weren't going your way, maybe for the first time consistently, like it has the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, just making the adjustments on the iPads, watching the film and just staying poised. We know what we got, and you aren't going to blow every team out by 60 every week. You'd like to think you would, but the other team's good too. Just sticking to our process, doing what we do, and yeah.
What do you think you learned most about your team in this game? Like you said, you can't blow out everyone by 60 every week, but in this game you guys handled it relatively easy, but there were some tough moments.
Yeah. Like I said, I think just sticking to our process. There's not a lot of highs that were too high or lows that were too lows. Like we had some good plays on D, good plays on O. And then even, when they were running the ball a lot and we're giving up some yards, or, the offense, we had a punt, like if there was anyone on the sideline that was hanging their head, I like to see, especially when we're in at halftime, just everyone was poised, and we like to have finished there at the end, but, not too high, not too low.
Coming into this game, what were your expectations playing at, this kind of stadium, and, what do you think, and what was it like playing, a stadium you're probably not going to experience like that again? Yeah,
it was a cool venue, man. Cool scenery. It's a little different than Autzen Stadium when you're on defense. It's a lot louder. At Autzen, so you definitely have to bring your own juice when you're on the field. It's easier, obviously, to communicate, which is nice. You can actually talk to people, which is cool. But I'm looking forward to get back to Autzen next week. Let me tell you.
Your last go around with Oregon State, just kind of
the
mindset going into that for you.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm just going to prepare the way I always prepare every week. You know, nothing special. Obviously, there's an extra added bit of motivation because it's the Beavers. I'm an in-state guy, and it's the last time I'm going to play. I'm in a Duck uniform. You know, so I'm gonna come out ready to play. I'll bet you that much.
Bryce Bcher talking about the game and the interception against Northwestern. He was not the only linebacker who got a pick. Jerry Mixon had a pick 6 last week against Oklahoma State. I thought he was destined for another one. He broke a few tackles. He looked good with the football in his hands. He was a running back if you didn't know already. Jerry Mixon, he spoke with the media after the game.
Walk us through the interception, just what you saw and how this one felt compared to last week.
Just reading the quarterback eyes. We had a play call, and I played inside the running back. Spread the quarterback eyes, jumped the route, and trying to get another pick 6.
Can you describe just the feeling of confidence that comes with it, of being able to play, make the plays now that you've done the last 2 weeks of, I know you played your first 2 years, but you're extensively playing now and you're producing at a high level.
Yeah, just doing it in practice every day. We go against the best every day in practice. So just going out there and gaining my confidence from that first 2 years, and then putting it out there, treating it like practice, and go out there and execute.
Yeah, I think Dan and Bryce both said that you have more practice interceptions than anybody I know. You know, what goes into that? Why is that something that's so important to you, that it's something that you obviously work on?
Yeah, I think that just goes back to the ball skills of me playing running back. Also, just being a Mixon last name, I think that plays a part of it, our instincts. Yeah, just doing that every day in practice gives me confidence in the game to go out there and do the same stuff.
Was it better for you guys to face a game where it wasn't much of a blowout as the first 2, to have some adversity on both sides, overcome that, and to have to grind a little bit?
Yeah, definitely overcome. It was an early game, so we had to come out and wake up early, bring our own juice. That's what our coach told us, bring our own juice this week. So just going through adversity, just keep getting back up. If we fall back down, that's what they preach to us.
What do you feel like you learned about your team this week?
That we're a strong team. We know how to overcome adversity. Got a lot of leaders who speak a lot of good stuff to us. So, yeah, that's what I learned.
How will you and Bryce Nash is playing linebacker together? How effective does that make a defense?
Yeah, Coach Lanning calls us sticks and picks. You know, he's a hard hitter, and I like to give picks. So we mesh together well. He got a lot of instincts as well. Just playing out their instincts, executing the call, and then that handle itself.
Picks and sticks. I like that for the linebacker duo. Linebackers had a pretty good weekend. 2 interceptions, and one of them earned the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week. Jerry Mixon was able to take home the honor from the conference as he was able to get an interception for his 2nd week in a row. Good work from the Oregon linebacking crew. Got to get another timeout when we come back. There are a whole host of other athletic programs that were in action over the weekend and that are in action throughout the course of the week. Breaking it down when we return after this on Duck Inside on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
We know you turn to the Duck Store for all your game day needs. And for students at the University of Oregon, it's even more. Class supplies, jobs, a seat on our board, a place to take a quick coffee break. Because we're your student-first, non-profit college store, every purchase you make directly supports the very community we serve. From working in our counters to studying in the classroom, from directing our stores to cheering in the stands, the people we serve, the students, are the very people who are the Duck Store.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
There's danger out there. It lurks on highways and quiet neighborhood streets. It's more likely to kill you than a shark and more terrifying than the biggest snake. Distracted driving claims lives every day. Every notification, swipe, social post, video, or selfie while driving risks your life. So while you might think public speaking or the zombie apocalypse is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
If you build a relationship, then it becomes easier. If you build trust, it becomes easier. As a parent, you want what's best for your child. To give them the love that a child needs is probably the best you can do for a teenager.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
We're back inside the Country Financial Studio. Ryan Milano with you on Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Oregon football got their 34-14 victory over Northwestern to advance to 3-0 and now 1-0 in Big Ten Conference play. Oregon soccer also went on the road to start their first Big Ten matchup of the season. Played against UCLA, and it was a pretty strong game for the Ducks against a talented UCLA program. The Ducks dropped this game 2-0. However, Oregon only allowed 2 goals on penalty kicks. The defense was stout in this game against a potent UCLA offense. Granted, still lost. Don't want to take too many moral victories away from a loss, but against UCLA, drawing them in the course of active time, I think that's a pretty strong result as Coach Tracy Joyner continues to build this Oregon program in her first year with the program. Oregon volleyball had 3 different matches over the weekend. One on Thursday. We talked about the 3-2 loss to Colorado State on the show on Friday. But then after that, Oregon volleyball was able to bounce back in Southern California. They played 3 Southern California teams over the weekend in a quasi-road environment. And on Friday night, Oregon made quick work of Long Beach State, the host school, for this tournament. A sweep of Long Beach State. And then the next day against UC Riverside, Oregon was able to win 3-1 against UCR as Trent Kirsten's squad is now 7-1 on the season as they still have one more week left of non-conference action before they travel in to play conference games coming up next week. The next match for Oregon volleyball will be on the road at Oregon State on Thursday at 6 o'clock before Oregon also plays Portland State on Friday at 7 o'clock. Oregon women's golf also in action right now as we speak after the Ducks had a very strong finish to their first round of the, or rather first tournament of the fall campaign as Oregon was able to slide back into contention with a really strong third round last week. The Ducks will play in the Jackson T. Stevens Cup today, tomorrow, and on Wednesday. Number 1 Stanford in the field. Oregon's ranked number 2. Number 3 Texas in the field. 3 of 6 top 15 programs that Oregon will face this weekend. Joey will be back with you in the Country Financial Studio on Duck Insider tomorrow. Until then, go Ducks. See everybody.
You say you'd never give in to a meltdown and never fill your feed with kid photos. You say you'd never put a pacifier in your mouth to clean it and never let them run wild through the grocery store. So when you say you'd never let them get into a car without you there, know it can happen. 1 in 4 hot